everybody. Welcome to the Blind Spot Project, and this show where we like to talk about movies we haven't seen before and that are popular or well regarded or whatever. And it's always a ton of fun. And today we are talking about the movie we're not supposed to talk about. We're talking about Fight Club.
Yes.
And in
Yeah.
fairness, I'm the only one that hadn't seen it. Amanda has seen it, and we were gonna do two, but with my work at the movie show, I just couldn't fit it in this month. So you were kind enough to we agree to watch it again a second time and or
Mm,
multiple times. And
yeah.
Amanda, thanks so much for doing this.
No problem. I am a sucker for David Fincher, so I will talk about him all the time. But I'm really glad that you got the chance to watch this one. It is like a cult classic in my
Yeah,
eyes, so everyone has to watch it at least once.
yeah, it's certainly one of those movies I'd heard about. I'd heard we don't talk about Fight Club. I heard about the twist, things like that. I'd heard about it, but I just never seen it. It's just one of those ones that I don't know
Yeah,
why. I just had never. Well, I think the reason why is because I don't love super violent movies,
fair.
and I thought that Fight Club, oh, that sounds very very violent, and not that it doesn't have its violent moments, but it was different than I was expecting.
Yeah, I mean, there's not really that much fighting in
No,
this
there's
movie.
very little in the actual Fight Club.
It's a more like psychological thriller
Yeah.
that just takes you for a loop. And I was like, I think I was maybe a teenager, like 13,
Yeah.
14, when I watched this for the first time, and I couldn't sleep after I watched it.
Oh, really?
Like it really tapped in there, man. Like I
Yeah.
remember like I was at my grandmother's house and I wasn't allowed to watch these movies yet. Like there was like an R rating, like I couldn't watch
Sure.
this. I was by myself in the basement with this like big, the box TVs, like those
Oh,
big old
yeah.
ones. And I was there with blankets. Everyone went to bed and I was watching until 1 o'clock in the morning. So then I went back upstairs. I went to bed and there was a chair in this room. And I thought Tyler Durden was like there watching me sleep the whole time. I didn't sleep, but it's like, then people are like, but it's like Brad Pitt. Like, why wouldn't you? Who cares that he's like the corner watching you sleep? I was like, no, 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 that's Tyler Durden. It's not Brad Pitt. What are you talking about? So that's my little like fun story
That is really
regarding Fight
funny.
Club, my first time that I watched it.
Well, it's interesting because I love movies about work and what motivates us in work and why.
Yeah.
And so I actually think I would have liked this a lot if I'd actually seen it when it came out. And I was thinking about it yesterday that there were a lot of movies during that because this came out in 1999, which was the year that I started college. So it was like a very kind of important movie year for me.
Mm,
You watch a lot of movies when you're in college, and but 1999, there were a lot of movies kind of about work, like different tones, but still, it was definitely a
mm,
theme, something on the mind because. I don't know if it was just Y2K that was getting people, but I just without even thinking that hard, you've got Fight
maybe.
Club, you've got Office Space, which really Fight Club and Office Space are practically the same movie. They're very, very similar. You've got American Beauty, which is a lot about work and suburbia
Yeah,
and things like that. You've got Mail, which is like the
that's
rom
also
com version
true.
of all this,
Yeah.
and you have the Truman Show, which would have been '98, so just the year before.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
That is, I think it has to lot to do about Y2K. There's absolutely no way that it has nothing to do with that. I also think that because of the rise in technology, like corporations completely shifted their mentality of what and how they needed their employees to work. So I think that
Uh-huh.
was a massive factor too.
Are you a fan of Rachel's reviews? Do you look forward to Family Movie Night, Female Film Critics panels, or the Talking Disney podcast? If so, please consider supporting the podcast by becoming a patron. As a patron, you get to access monthly events such as the watch-alongs and Q&As, where you get to talk to stars and find out the behind the scenes of the movie making industry. And you can pick what I review for Family Movie Night or even become a guest on the podcast. Podcasts and YouTube channels are expensive, and I really, really could use your help. I would so appreciate it. You also get to be a member of the Facebook group where we talk about all the films that we're seeing, and we have so much fun. Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies and select one of the Rachel's fan tiers. That's patreon.com/hallmarkies.
probably kind of the end of sort of that like really, really uh not profitable, but very wealthy time in the 90s.
Mm.
And, we were when I was going to school, we were basically kind of promised that if you go to college, you will be able to like live whatever it is your dream, live your dreams. And I feel like now that I feel like people are a lot more like, they might not turn out the way you think, kids, but like
Oh,
go
we're
for it
so
and try your
no,
best. And
we're even more pessimistic than we
and
were back then.
I feel like a lot of older millennials kind of were disappointed by, like, we were fed this idea that like your work life is good, like you, especially women. I think this is a totally thing with women, that we're told that like you not only can you have it all, but like it's going to be way more rewarding to have whatever dream work life that you have, that you want. It's going to be way more rewarding than family. Like
Oh,
that's what you
yes,
should be
that.
looking forward to. And then the family is like a bonus fun like thing that you might get to have. It
It
was kind
changed.
of what was sold. And I think a lot of people got into their 20s and they're like, oh, this kind of sucks. This
Hmm.
is not what they said. Like, first of all, like college degrees have become increasingly more meaningless. And
Yes.
that started, I think, right around that time. And also just like those 20s are really rough. Like for a lot of
They
people, because it's just
really
like this is not
are.
what they told us this was going to be like, going to a desk in a cubicle and sitting there for hours and hours a day is the worst. And
Yeah. We
it's
don't want that anymore. I know, like that's the
no.
thing. I feel like we were promised something if economically it would have worked in our favor. And I think now
Yeah.
we're looking at it, it's like financially that's not gonna work in our favor. And we're also like overworking ourselves in a position where like like we're not enjoying it. And then everyone says like, especially like older generations, they're like, oh, like you're not supposed to like have fun at work, like that's not the point of work, like you just go to work and have a job. And it's like, but you're putting in almost like 3 decades of like working in an office for like, you have to somewhat find it like enjoyable, or like you like waking up and doing a 9 to, like, you know what I mean? Like
But
you have
he
to like doing some of it, or else
but
you're going to be sad about it.
yeah. And even in the past, a lot of these sort of menial jobs, you were still making something, right?
Yeah.
You still left the day being like, I made all of these, widgets for this, whatever, over the
Yeah.
course of the day. You were still moving, you were still active. And like once the like computer thing, then
Yeah.
it was like you're spending all day like putting code into something and just sitting, and it's like a different thing. And then I feel like now we, especially post COVID, like so many people are basically kind of on the gig economy, which has its
Mm,
own downsides. Certainly that's my life.
mm,
That it's very unstable. I'm literally working 24/7, but at least I'm
yeah.
doing stuff that like is
You
self-motivated and stuff I'm
and you
interested in,
enjoy.
and
Yeah.
with people that I like. And it's like a little bit more creative. Like I would take that any day over the accounting clerk job that I had for years,
I
even though
get
that's
you.
technically more stable.
Mhm.
I don't know. So I feel like that time between like 98 and that next decade was
Mm,
just all was a very, very interesting time for people in their 20s, just starting out their careers. Technology was changing so much, and I feel like it's no accident that there were all of those movies that we talked about, plus more, in 99.
yeah, there's a reason. I mean, like I think every decade has that, like those couple of defining films
Mm-hmm.
that do explore the workplace. Like I
Yeah.
know Nine to Five was a big one
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
that one, right? So it's like everything, whenever there's a shift, there's a whole slew of films that come out that just explore that in different ways. And here, like with Fight Club, it's all about like consumerism and then just like how corporations treat people. And then it's
Mhm.
just like it's capitalism at the end of the day that they really dive into, right?
Yeah.
So
I
it's
mean,
interesting.
yeah, and in the Wikipedia for this Fight Club is absolutely excellent and incredibly in detailed. And I
Yeah.
guess one of the inspirations for David Fincher was The Graduate. And so that would have been like that kind of movie for the 1960s, with
Yep.
Dustin Hoffman's character and what does he want, and the ending of like, well, he chooses to get married, but then he looks at each other and like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like all that is kind of saying things. And so I thought that was interesting that he said that.
Hmm.
But I guess for me with this movie is I think all of that is so interesting. I don't know if I really needed it to take the next meta step of having it be a multiple personality and having it be like, I don't know if I really needed that. Like, I think it could have been like perfectly satisfying and interesting
Right.
if Tyler Durden was real and
Mm.
it was this escape from this horrible work, for the narrator work environment. And you, I don't know if I needed that second layer of the movie for it to be effective.
I get what you're saying, but at the end of the day, I think that that's what made it stand out from the pack. Like if we remove that meta layer, then it would be, you know, not, I don't want to say like more like linear, but I think that allowing that second layer just added more depth to the character, like to the character and what was happening with him. Because at the end of the day, it's like he's miserable in his life, and then he's trying to figure out what he wants to do. And then there's a whole other person that he, like either like looks for and like craves to be. So I think that that is really interesting to have that duality, because even like myself, I have so many different ideas in my head and like different paths that I would want to take. So I think they kind of do it extremely well in that case to add a different plane to add that depth.
So it's interesting, David Fincher, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic to have two of us women talking about masculinity, but
Yeah.
our friend David Rosen may join us at some point during the recording, but he says we're designed to be hunters, and we're in a society, speaking of men, of we're designed to be hunters, and we're in a society of shopping. There's nothing to kill anymore. There's nothing to fight, nothing to overcome, nothing to explore. In that societal emasculation, this everyman, the narrator, is
Hmm.
created.
It's a
What do you
very good
think about
point.
that?
That's a very good point because obviously through evolution, like men went to war. That was majority of their time. They're trained to go to war. Or even like if you want to go back to cavemen, they were trained to hunt and provide for their families. And then now a lot of people are just, they're not doing that. Like they want to become a soldier, they go and they do that, but it's not like it's a narrative placed upon them. It's like that's their choosing. So now there's a lot of guys like that just have that instinct within them because they're just born with it, but they're not using it in the way that I guess nature intended. So it's like that toxicity is always going to be part of that DNA and that structure. And I think the fact that like there's no outlet in that way in previous decades and like generations, I think that's where he's getting at, which makes like a complete sense because then they try to maybe push that into like being businessmen,
Mm-hmm.
because that's more of like a primal like I know what I want, I can get this done, and you can still use that like a like tactful nature in order to get what you want. So I think that's the route that he would
Yeah, I
take
mean
with
it's
that.
interesting because I I wonder if the alpha male has is I wonder if the alpha male is essential to all men, or we've just seen a replacement in sort of the order of priorities or order of that they've just been demoted and now a different kind of masculinity, a different kind of maleness has taken its place. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh, I
is like
agree
Mark
with that.
Zuckerberg or someone like that? Is that the new ideal? Has evolution replaced the alpha male with the nerdy male?
I agree 100% because that's where the strength is right now. Digital media, digital marketing, all of that, like those products that are being pushed, like platforms that we see, there's so many men that it's male dominated. Anywhere's male dominated, to be honest, but like they're more techies. And because like that's the way of the future, and that's the way that it was in the early 2000s as well with that development, I do think that there is a replacement of being, a tech guy or a businessman as well in order to, make a living. And that's where the alpha male is, not necessarily in characteristics, but in their career.
So Fincher, he also said that the narrator said he's tried to do everything he was taught to do, tried to fit into the world by becoming the thing he isn't. He cannot find happiness, so he travels on a path to enlightenment in which he must kill, quote unquote, his parents, God, and teacher. By the start of the film, he has killed off his parents. With Tyler Durden, he kills his God by doing things they're not supposed to do. To complete the process of maturing, the narrator has to kill his teacher, Tyler Durden. What do you think of that?
It's classic Fincher. I get what he's saying. It's true because like we're all, we're conditioned to think a certain way when we're like in school. And like our parents teach us something different, our teachers teach us something different, and we have our own mind that tells us to do things differently as well. So I do get that's how I'm interpreting what he's
Yeah.
saying. I do kind of get that where like you do have to push people out of the way and you have to push yourself out of the way in order to clear that path to who you actually want to be. So I do kind of see that.
Well, and I think that again was particularly true at the turn of the millennium. That
Yeah.
that the message, like I was saying, we were kind of taught, you go to college, that's you're going to be able to, live your dreams. And it
Yeah.
seems like to me that like that we've sort of changed as a culture and be like, and what's
Yeah.
interesting? This seemed like a weird example, but have you ever seen Monsters University? That
Yes.
prequel they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's like I think actually a good example of how we've changed in our narratives. So
Mm.
that movie, you have Mike, whose big dream is to be a scarer, right? That's what he wants to
Yeah.
do, and he tries and he works as hard as he can. But the big
Yeah.
message in the movie, and that's why I think it's kind of underrated, is things don't always work out,
No,
even when you
they
try
don't.
really hard. And sometimes the person who didn't try at all, but is just naturally gifted, gets
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
And that's just so I feel like that we're we're sort of changing. Like I think if you made Fight Club now, it would be a lot different. It would be a lot more sort of random and less pointed. Like it
Oh
would
yeah.
that I just don't think you could tell like such a pointed allegory that would be as accurate to as many men and just society in general as you could do in 1999.
Yeah, you definitely can't make it now. There would be an entirely different like
Yeah.
thing and it'd be so different because of the way that people react to having a job in general and like with the current
Yeah, you're
state of
right.
the world. Like people don't want to work. And it's like I also don't blame them because what are we technically getting out of it? At
Hmm.
the same time, yes, we're getting paid. Yes, there's stability, but at the same time, it's like that's also not enough because they keep moving the goalpost for so many of us. It's like, well, we can keep
Yeah.
working, but like, are we going to reach a goal? Are we going to exceed what we think that we're doing with our life
Hmm.
if we're in this current career path? So I feel like people are even working a 9 to 5 like myself and then working like two, three other jobs
Well,
because
and
I
those two, three other jobs are the ones you actually value. And
so that's my creative
yeah.
outlet. And if I lose my creative outlet, God knows where like the hell I'm gonna end up. Gonna be honest. Like I don't know. And like I sit at my desk sometimes at work and I was like, if I didn't have film criticism, or I didn't have journalism, or wasn't able to like do my book club, like I think that I would lose my mind. And I think that more people are finding that they want to keep those creative outlets, but also make money from them. And that's also another possibility because of like TikTok or YouTube or even
Mhm.
like Instagram. People are like, I don't care anymore. I want to do what I love. Life is too short, which is another thing because
You know what
even,
I was just thinking?
yeah,
If
yeah.
they made Fight Club now, it would definitely
Mm.
involve AI
1000%.
for
That's
sure.
definitely, that has to be it because that is the only technology that like we don't fully understand yet, but that's going to
Yeah.
affect most of the corporations because if you don't go with AI, you're going to be singled out and like your company could completely like plummet
Mhm.
100% if you're not going to use AI, right? So
Yeah.
even as journalists, Rachel, like we're writers. We're writers and we're sitting here
Hmm.
like, if someone uses AI or like ChatGPT, for example, it's like it's kind of frowned upon, but at the same time, it is a useful tool for different areas, right?
But also
So,
like a way of sort of creating a false identity like Tyler Durden. Like it's really not that far off
oh, it's not.
of artificial intelligence.
Which if it's used for that, like that's where it gets scary. Because
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of ads where it's like an AI human. I'm like, you guys are crazy, and they're just generating
And it's
content.
scary. It's getting better and better
Yeah.
and better that I mean, everybody likes to pretend like, oh, I could tell.
No, you really can't.
I
I couldn't. When I
don't
saw it, I was
know.
like, that's not a human being. Like you can't tell anymore. If they
It's
need to perfect the speaking matching the mouth.
yeah, I agree.
Then it's
That is the
like,
weaker part. Yeah.
yeah, and if once they do that, then we're
Yeah.
screwed. So
Yeah,
don't
you're
do that. Don't listen to me on this pod. Please don't listen to me.
yeah.
I'm sorry I even said it. Like,
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Savannah Carlyle and her new book, If I'd Have Known. Escape to Big Dune Island, where hearts are healed by ocean breezes and friends feel like family. In If I'd Have Known by Savannah Carlyle, the second book in the Big Dune Island series, Gigi, a lawyer who's sworn off love, and Austin, a retired baseball player, are forced to work together planning their best friend's secret wedding while solving a mystery that could save the town's historic B&B. Readers are calling it a charming and engaging romance filled with witty banter, heartfelt moments, and just the right amount of mystery. Visit savannahcarlyle.com or use the affiliate link below to grab your copy and go on a mental vacation today to Big Dune Island with Gigi and Austin. We know you'll love it. That's savannahcarlyle.com or using the affiliate link below. The movie, it starts out with him putting a gun in his mouth. Like it definitely is like intense and
yeah.
it's and it's so the cinematography is Jeff Cronenweth. Cronenweth
Mm,
is the name. And he has done a bunch with David Fincher. He did The Social
yeah.
Network. He did Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl.
The best, the
He was
best.
nominated for cinematography nominations for both of those, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and Gone Girl.
Nice.
And so he's super talented. You can definitely feel that here,
Oh
his
yeah.
cinematography.
He's fantastic. I think that's why like like those films in particular that you just listed, I love them so much because of the cinematography, especially Gone Girl. Gone Girl is one of
Mm-hmm.
his best works too. So you definitely feel that here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's also a shame that I didn't get introduced to this earlier because I didn't realize that insomnia was such a theme also of the
Mm,
story, which is interesting because it's obviously trying to sort of show that detachment from reality. It's setting that
yeah.
meta idea from the very beginning.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
And
It sets the tone quite well like early on of what we're getting into.
And I'm a chronic insomniac. I have been literally since I was a little girl. I remember just as a little girl, just staring at the ceiling and like, and just struggling to sleep,
Shoot.
even as a little kid. And my
Yeah.
mom would come, "What are you doing? Why aren't you asleep?"
It's like I can't, I'm trying.
And there's a famous story when my grandma thought my parents were too soft, or whatever, and she was like, I can put her to bed. I can make her go to sleep, and
Sure.
And then she came out like an hour later, wounded.
No way. That's funny, actually. It's like, well, I don't know what's
I
wrong with her.
because I mean my whole life I have struggled to sleep. I struggled to get enough
Oh,
sleep. And I've literally done everything. I've done all the labs, I've done all the medicine, I've done
shoot.
I even went to a sleep therapist for a time.
No
I,
way.
I have literally tried everything, and I finally reached the point where I was just like, well, I'm just gonna sleep as much as I sleep. I'm gonna stop worrying about it. And it's sometimes that can be the only like I'm very fortunate that I don't have a job right now. I did last year, but I don't have a job where I have to be up at a particular time.
Yeah.
So that is nice because then I can hopefully maybe sleep in a little bit.
Yeah.
But the I just I don't know, just nothing really works. And people are always like, oh, you should try this. But yeah, I just reached a point where I was like, well, I'm just gonna just let my body just sleep as long as I need to sleep.
Yeah, I
And
mean, that's the best thing
fortunately,
to do.
yeah, the times when it's the hardest for me is when I do have to be somewhere early
Yeah.
in the morning.
Hmm.
Because not only then I'm not able to sleep in, but also I have the nervousness. So then that
Yeah.
makes the insomnia worse because I'm like,
Yeah, because you
oh,
have anxiety.
yeah. And so then like for the little trip I took to Utah Shakespeare Festival, we had to be at the meetup point at 8:30.
Ooh.
And that made me really nervous because I didn't want to miss the whole trip. Like I would put the whole group behind and everything. And
Yeah.
so I mean I think I got 3 hours of sleep that night just because I could not get to sleep. And
No.
then yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But yeah, insomnia, it's a beast. It's
I
very,
believe it.
very tricky to
Yeah,
deal
that
with.
is tricky.
And
I
poor
totally get
narrator,
it.
he's struggling.
This poor guy. I think like even the most, especially with this film, like the most obscure thoughts happen in the wee hours of the morning,
Yeah,
right?
that's
So
true.
like I not because I think that the world is quiet at that time, so then you have the ability to think of very like outlandish situations or like you get your best ideas at that time. So I do understand how that is like another factor to their narrator as well.
And he's got the horrible mind-numbing job and the IKEA nesting instinct.
It's very random.
Well, I mean, it makes sense because for the aesthetic of this movie, IKEA is all very it's all mass produced, it's all cheap, it's all very
Yeah.
modern and it's aesthetic. And so that would kind of make sense why he would be obsessed with.
It's like they make good stuff. I get
Oh, I just thought of
it.
another movie that's business related that came out in 2000, American Psycho.
Yes.
That's another one right
That
around this
is
time.
another one. You are right.
Yeah.
Such a good one.
So he starts going to these emotional support groups, and that he. What do you think the appeal of these emotional support groups are for the narrator?
I mean, for him, I guess it's like he feels badly about himself, but it's like it could be worse. So he wants
Mm-hmm.
to kind of see what people are struggling with, and I think that that makes complete sense. Because I think everyone does want to reach out at one point if they're struggling themselves. So to go to these support groups and see what other people are dealing with, it kind of maybe puts things into perspective of like, maybe to learn from them or what not to do at the same time if he's listening. I think that's how it would
Well, and
work.
that need for human connection,
Yeah,
because there is no emotional support group for I hate my job and I'm miserable,
it's everybody.
which there should be,
It's
but there's
like just
not.
say it out loud and everyone's like, "Yes, I agree with you, no problem."
Join
But we're
that
not gonna
group.
but it's like the thing is that like we're all kind of in the same boat because when you ask someone how was work, what's the natural response? It was fine. It's what it
Yeah.
is. It was another day. Like no one's gonna be enthusiastic about like, oh my God, guess what happened? Like they're not gonna do that, right? So
Yeah.
of course everyone just doesn't talk about it because I think others would feel like, well, what are you complaining about? At least you have a job. Like it's that type of
Mhm.
thing where it's like you're
Yeah.
allowed to kind of vent though.
Hmm.
Because not everyone's in a job or career that they're 100% like dead set on too, right? Like again, a job is a job and it's fantastic, but is that
Well,
where
and
like
even
your
if
heart
you
is
see, that was the
sometimes?
big lie of the millennials had the big lie was that even if you
Yeah,
do get the dream job, it's still not that satisfying.
it's not.
That's
Nothing
the
ever.
thing is that work is just like I don't care if you have the most exciting job and your literal dream job, it's still just a means to an end.
Yeah.
Like you will not gain true intellectual, spiritual
No.
satisfaction from a job.
You're
You'll
you're
gain
never
it
going
from
to be
maybe the
fulfilled.
relationships that you make at that job, possibly,
Yes. Yeah.
but it's just not, it's just that is like a great lie that we were sold. And that's why I
Hmm.
think during this time, everybody was kind of unpackaging that,
Yeah, and
trying to
people
figure it
still
out.
are. They are, and they still are.
Yeah.
Because like this one, 100%, you're dealing with massive corporations, right?
Hmm.
And just like how we consume things and how we like approach these situations. So I think that like it does such a good job with just deconstructing all of it. And that's
Yeah.
why I think after watching Fight Club, once you get to the end of the film, it's like there's a lot to process. Like there's no way that you can get everything in one viewing too. You can.
Yeah. I
I'm
can
not,
see that.
you know what I mean? Like you would love to go back and watch it and be like, what else can I, resonate with, or what else can I like unpack here? Because there's so much that he does.
Well, so he meets Marla, and Marla says that she's a tourist of emotional support.
She's amazing in this, Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah,
She's so
she's
good,
really
dude.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The
It's cheaper
tourist.
than a movie, and there's free coffee.
I mean, realistically, because I think if you're someone who enjoys like observing people, then that is obviously something that you would do. It's very weird, but
Hmm.
like I think I understand that because people want to observe others. Take a look at how we consume, influencers and how we like
Yeah,
doom scroll. And it's like, well, what's this person doing with their life? Like you're constantly interested in that stuff because it's
yeah,
comforting in a way.
yeah. So then there's a big explosion at his apartment, and he'd met Tyler on their airplane, and he told him about his soap, and then the big explosion, and he calls Tyler, and they said that things you own end up owning you.
Yep. Big one. One of the best
I
lines
There's
from the
a
movie.
whole Jerry Seinfeld bit that he does where he talks about everything is in a constant state of becoming garbage.
That's also
It's just really true.
it's so true. It's true. Whether it's like 5 years from now or 10 years from now, it's the
Yeah.
truth. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is true.
And and we that it was a throwback to the past that Tyler is a projectionist.
Hmm.
Like, oh, that was it's hard to believe that not that long ago. That's how you go to a movie theater. There was someone in there.
Yeah. Taking
Yeah.
care of the film. Yeah,
Hmm.
I
Not
know.
that long ago.
No.
So, and still, if you like go to an IMAX 70 meter or that kind of a thing, it's still going to
Yeah.
be there. Still going to be doing that.
Thank
But
God.
and we have the rules of Fight Club. He's introduced to Fight Club. The rules, first two rules. The other rules are you must stop fighting when someone yells stop, goes limp, or taps out. Only two guys fight at a time. There should only be one fight at a time. And there are no shirts or shoes. Fights go on as long as they have to. And if it is your first night, you have to fight.
Those are great
So
rules.
that's the rules. Uh, what do you think? I mean, do you feel like they did a good job, like convincing that this about Fight Club and about that sort of meta aspect of it being
I,
in his head?
I think so because we're constantly facing battles with ourselves. So that's a pretty
Mm-hmm.
good representation as well. Like that Fight Club itself, it's like, do you know, it's real or fake, but you're fighting your own demons. And that's the way I interpret it as well. So, you know, you don't talk about it obviously because it's going on in your head.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of that. And then like it's one on one. So you're fighting, you know, a version of yourself as well. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think that he did an excellent job with that
And he
100%.
says, who you are in Fight Club is different than the rest of the world.
Yeah, it
So that
tracks.
escape. And then Tyler burns his hand with Lyle, or burns the narrator's hand,
Hmm.
and with Lyle's soap. And so that's him self-inflicting,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
In reality.
Hmm.
And God does not like you. He hates you. We are God's unwanted children. It's only when we've lost everything that we are free to do everything. So in the world of the narrator, is has God just chosen to love some people, or does he hate all people?
I think because he sees himself as like he's suffering personally, he
Mm-hmm.
has that like it's a select few. I don't think it's all people. Because unless it's like he looks at everyone around him and then he goes to, you know, those meetings and he does see that like everyone's suffering, so he can have that mindset as well. But I do think because it's directly affecting the narrator, affecting him, I think he's looking at it like it's a select few.
Mm. Yeah, well, I mean, because then they have that whole thing about Robert Paulson, about Big
Hmm.
Rob, Big
Yeah.
Bob. He says Robert Paulson has a name. Stop trying to control everything and just let go is
Yeah.
the theme. So, I mean, David Fincher, he's obviously an atheist. That's clear.
Yeah.
That um I think that if there is a God, he certainly is very cynical about God.
Very cynical. He
Yeah.
can be. I think when something happens to you, everyone kind of just questions. Like you have faith 1000%, but then you're allowed to kind of question that if something terrible does happen to you, like an illness or, you know, an accident, anything like that. So you do question it. So I get that.
One of the most intense scenes of the movie is when the police almost castrate the narrator. That's pretty crazy.
Insane. Like insane. That was an anxiety inducing, that one for
Yeah.
sure. That was crazy.
And that he is saying that there, I think Fincher's saying that that's what we want to do to men. We're
Yes.
we've emasculated men, we're castrating them, we've forced them into this kind of thing. I mean, I think that I can understand that. I also think that maybe it's a bit overstated. I mean, I think look at I mean,
Yeah.
there's UFC, there's plenty of ways for guys to dude out and bro out. Like I um but I guess in a way it doesn't really matter if it was realistic to that time,
Right.
that it just matters what is in the head of this narrator person, how he is interpreting the world. So he could be basically an unreliable narrator,
Oh yeah.
you know.
Definitely.
But I think that Fincher does believe that we have emasculated men, and we certainly you can see
Mm.
that through his other films, of course. I
Oh,
mean, look, Gone Girl, hello.
Gone Girl's a big one.
Yeah.
Gone Girl's definitely a big one. So yeah, I can agree with that. I think there's a lot that I think he does more with like masculinity in Fight Club, obviously, than most of his other films.
I mean,
But it's funny.
because Gone Girl is all about Ben Affleck's character getting emasculated and controlled. I mean, that's the
Mm.
whole thing. I'm curious to see if what is his personal life, David Fincher?
I do think
Um,
with Gone Girl, it was like through a woman's perspective, whereas like with Fight Club, it's more from a male perspective. So you
yeah.
kind, it's more, yeah, not you feel, not that you feel for them, but men would feel, that's why they're so tied to Fight Club. And that's why women are so tied to Gone Girl for that exact reason, based on
Yeah.
perspective, right? And how they do emasculate the men.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, that just seems very valid. I would love to hear his
I need
perspective
to
on
know.
that. Yeah, that's
I love him
interesting.
to death. I really do. He's great.
I have to admit, I was not the biggest fan of Gone Girl, actually. But I
Oh,
know that was one of my
scandal.
unpopular opinions. But I
Mm.
mean, I maybe should revisit it. But I think I took it very literally, and I'm like, come on, there's no way she could pull off this plan the way that she does. I heard David's here, so let's have him in. This would be good to get a few minutes with
Yes.
him on this movie.
I'd like to take a second to thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's Hers. Weight loss medications are everywhere right now. Everyone's talking about them, everyone's on them. But let's be real, have you seen the price tag? It's hard to believe they're actually accessible. That's where Hers comes in. Hers is transforming women's healthcare by providing access to affordable weight loss treatment plans. They connect you with a medical provider who will work with you to determine the best treatment option for you. If prescribed, you get medication as part of a doctor-developed weight loss program, complete with ongoing care, check-ins, dosage, and medication adjustments, and 24/7 online support at no additional costs, no hidden fees, and no membership fees. Weight loss by Hers is realistic, not restrictive, and affordable. Hers provides access to both oral medication kits and GLP-1 injectable options, with oral medication kits starting at just $69 per month with a 10-month plan when paid upfront. Plus, your personalized treatment ships for free directly to your door. So if you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time for you to find the best option that works for you through Hers. Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/hallmarkies. That's forhers.com/hallmarkies. forher.com/hallmarkies.
But David,
Hey,
you're
guys.
here.
Mhm.
How's it going?
Good. So we've been
Good,
talking
good.
about Fight Club,
Oh,
and
yeah. Wait,
particularly,
you're talking about Fight Club.
I
What?
know we're not supposed to, but we are.
Just
So-
this once.
As a dude, I'm curious for your perspective on this quote from David Fincher. He says, "We're designed to be hunters, and we're in a society of shopping. There's nothing to kill anymore. There's nothing to fight, nothing to overcome, nothing to explore. In that societal emasculation, this everyman, the narrator, is created."
I feel like in my 20s when this came out, I would have heard that quote and been like, whoa. Now I'm a little jaded and like I know like press tour speak and all that kind of stuff. And so it's a little tough to take 100% seriously. But I mean, that is the beauty of this movie though, is that like it does tap into something that nobody was really talking about at that time yet. And that you had made that tweet. I don't know if you've talked about this already, but you had made that tweet about this and Office Space essentially being like kind of the same movie. And like
Yeah.
these are both movies about like the misplaced rage or whatever of
Yeah.
like young
Mhm.
men. And it was an interesting time. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah, we were talking about that, like American Psycho, and there were a lot of movies at that time that were kind of about work and the disappointment of work. American Beauty certainly has those
Yeah.
themes in there.
Sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was all in that same era. I'm sure there's other
The Truman
examples as
Show.
well. Oh, yeah, that could definitely fit there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an interesting moment, and yeah, I don't know what my favorite Office Space is like. Ron Livingston's character is like my idol.
Office
in that
Space
movie,
is
but
like a survival movie for me. Like, it got me
Yeah.
through some tough times.
so good,
It
so
really
good.
did.
But I do think Fight Club is like practically a perfect movie, and I don't
Mhm.
think that you can like hold the misreadings of it against the movie or against the people involved in it. It's
Yeah.
just once something goes out into the world, you know, people are going to read it however they read it, and we see that all the time now too. People completely misreading movies and not understanding things.
Yeah. It was better than I expected. I don't know
I'm
what
so
I
happy.
expected, but I was
So
Was this a
happy.
first time watch for you, Rachel?
yeah, that's it.
Oh,
So it's our
nice.
blind spot. I don't know why. It was just one of the ones because I don't like. I'm not the biggest violence person, so I think that's why I avoided it. But it really doesn't
Yeah.
have that much fighting.
Yeah.
It has
Not too bad.
violence, but I don't know. It's not the fight club is really not that big a part of the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You
It's
know.
true.
So I did ask on Twitter what people thought of it. And I have Kevin the Critic. He says, I appreciate it more than I enjoy it. The acting and direction are great. And I think its commentary on the dark side of men and loneliness resonates more with me now than when I first saw it. But it's not one I return to often. Definitely strong film overall. Hope you enjoy. Our friend Sean Chandler, he says, from 2000 to 2002, you and the girls didn't get together every weekend to watch Fight Club and then do a Fight Club in the backyard. Our experiences between 2000 and 2001 appear to be very different.
I regret not doing it now. So
Gavin Owen, he says, I like it. Two great performances from Ed Norton and Brad Pitt. We haven't really talked about the performances so far in this, but yeah, I think they're both really strong.
They're both phenomenal. Like Brad Pitt gave me nightmares, as I stated before. So I didn't have sleep.
Early nerd,
they're
she
so good.
says. She says, I watched for the first time and was not a fan. Totally didn't live up to the hype for me. I think that it's saying something really profound, but I honestly found it kind of dumb. Peter Saunders says, it's great, but it can't possibly live up to its reputation among particularly rabid, toxic, misogynistic fanboys. So,
damn,
that is interesting. Yeah, and that goes back to what you were saying, David, about movies can kind of have a life, any kind of art actually. Like you have paintings that when they were painted didn't mean much, but then it becomes symbols for movements and things like that. So that can definitely happen. And but I did like it better than I thought. I think it's because I really do, because I'm an insomniac, or so I related to that. But also just themes about work and what motivates us is something that almost always works for me. And so I found it pretty interesting and well done. So I'm glad I finally checked it off of my blind spot list. Next month, we are doing Wuthering Heights, directed by William Wyler.
Ooh.
And this was a 1939 version. That was 1939 is widely considered the greatest year of cinema. And that was one that year with Laurence Olivier. And so that will be fun. That was the same year that they had The Wizard of Oz, Stagecoach, and Gone with the Wind. So pretty amazing.
We did Awesome Movie Year 1939, and
that would be good.
Yeah, we did that movie. It's a great movie, and yeah, a lot of really interesting ones there.
So
definitely.
Well, very good. Well, Manda, how can people find you?
You guys can always follow me over at AMX NDA Reviews on Twitter. You can check me out on Instagram at Amanda Garaji, and you can check out my website candidxcinema.com.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. And I've been working over at Kessel Movie Show the last month and a half or so. So I would love if you check that out over on their site. You can listen to the podcasts every Friday. So check that out. I would really appreciate it. And make sure you check out our playlist with all of our blind spot picks, and also on my website. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I have over 100 blind spot reviews over there on the website. So check that out, and make sure you check out our episode we're going to be recording on the summer box office too. That will be a lot of fun. And we have and if you're listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. If you're watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel, which sure appreciate that. We have our Patreon group, which is the biggest way you can support everything that we're doing. And you get to be part of watch-alongs and bonus episodes, other fun stuff. Check that out. And we have a merch store, which is a lot of fun. So thanks so much, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye.